It took exactly 5 days. 5 days for President Donald Trump to go from promising certainly no problem that he would release Pentagon footage to denying he ever said it, calling ABC News fake news, and personally attacking the reporter who had accurately quoted him. Welcome to 2025, the year Trump's lying didn't just continue. It became a greatest hits album of falsehoods played on endless repeat. On December 27th, CNN published what might be the most damning document of Trump's presidency, a comprehensive list of his top 25 lies of 2025. And the most shocking revelation wasn't the lies themselves. It was how Trump had stopped even trying to be creative about his deceptions. December 27th, 2025. CNN politics editor Daniel Dale, who has spent years fact-checking Trump's statements, released an analysis that should terrify anyone who cares about truth in American politics. In 2025, Trump lied with trademark staggering frequency, but with one key difference from his first presidency. The variety of his lies had shrunk dramatically. While he continued sprinkling in new fabrications, Trump relied on a core set of go-to lies that he deployed virtually no matter the setting and no matter how many times they had been debunked. It was hard to pick only 25, Dale wrote, but it was easier than it used to be. That sentence captured everything about Trump's 2025 lying strategy: quantity over creativity, repetition over innovation, shamelessness over shame. The $17 to $18 trillion lie became Trump's signature falsehood of 2025. In virtually every speech, interview, and public appearance, Trump claimed he had secured between $17 trillion and $18 trillion in investment commitments for the United States. The number was completely fabricated. No such investment existed. No foreign leaders had made such commitments. No companies had pledged such amounts. Yet, Trump repeated the lie so frequently that it became background noise in American political discourse. Ask Trump about inflation, he'd pivot to the phantom $18 trillion. Question his foreign policy, he'd mention the imaginary $17 trillion. Challenge his economic record, out came the non-existent investment figures. The shamelessness reached absurd levels during his campaign for the Nobel Peace Prize. Standing at the United Nations in September, Trump declared, "I ended 7 wars, and in all cases, they were raging, with countless thousands of people being killed." He proceeded to list these supposed wars, including Egypt and Ethiopia, 2 countries that were never at war during his presidency. They had an ongoing diplomatic dispute about an Ethiopian dam project, but calling it a war stretched credulity beyond breaking point. That wasn't Trump's only problem. His list also included a mystery conflict between Serbia and Kosovo that wasn't a Trump-era war, and a war in the Democratic Republic of Congo that hadn't actually ended. Undeterred by fact-checkers pointing out these obvious falsehoods, Trump escalated his claim after brokering an October ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. He started claiming he had ended 8 wars, even though killing in Gaza continued, and one of his listed ended wars between Thailand and Cambodia actually resumed in December. The number kept changing, the facts kept not mattering, and Trump kept repeating the lies. But perhaps the most brazenly documented lie of 2025 involved Maryland Governor Wes Moore. After Moore pushed back against Trump's assertions about public safety in Baltimore, Trump claimed that when they had previously met in private at the Army-Navy football game, Moore told him, "Sir, you're the greatest president of my lifetime, and "Sir, you're doing a fantastic job." It was the classic Trump lie structure. The deferential, "Sir," the superlative praise, the private conversation conveniently without witnesses. Except there was a witness. A camera crew, filming behind-the-scenes footage for a documentary, had captured the entire interaction. Fox News aired the video, which proved definitively that Governor Moore had uttered none of the praise Trump claimed. Moore hadn't called Trump the greatest president. He hadn't said Trump was doing a fantastic job. The conversation had been brief and entirely professional, with no fawning or superlatives. Confronted with video evidence of his lie, Trump did what he always does. He lied about the lie. The day after the video aired, Trump claimed the camera had caught Moore, rather than catching Trump's fabrication. It was a lie so absurd that even some Trump supporters struggled to defend it. The video showed Moore hadn't said what Trump claimed, yet Trump maintained that somehow the video vindicated his account. The pattern repeated throughout 2025. On December 3rd, Trump told an ABC News reporter he would certainly release no problem all additional Pentagon footage of a follow-up strike that killed survivors on a suspected drug boat in the Caribbean. The statement was clear and unambiguous. 5 days later, when another ABC News reporter referenced Trump's promise, Trump flatly denied it. "I didn't say that." He then labeled ABC fake news and personally disparaged the reporter who had accurately summarized his quote from 5 days earlier. The lie was so easily disprovable that it revealed something deeper. Trump either didn't care about being caught or had genuinely convinced himself that reality was whatever he said it was. The Los Angeles wildfire lie showcased Trump's multi-layered deception strategy. During his pre-inauguration transition in January, Trump baselessly linked wildfires in Los Angeles to a completely unrelated effort to protect a fish species hundreds of miles north. Then, as president in March, he crafted a heroic tale. "I broke into Los Angeles. Can you believe it? I had a break-in. I invaded Los Angeles and we opened up the water, and the water is now flowing down." The reality? Trump had pulled a pointless stunt, sending about 2 billion gallons of water from one part of California's Central Valley to another part of the same valley, completely unrelated to Los Angeles. It was a fabricated problem, solved by an imaginary solution, all performed for an audience that Trump assumed wouldn't bother checking the facts. The Canada lie captured Trump's approach to international relations through pure fiction. Throughout 2025, Trump repeatedly claimed, "The people of Canada like the idea of becoming the 51st state." No polling supported this claim. No Canadian officials had expressed such sentiment. No credible evidence existed that Canadians wanted to give up their sovereignty. Yet, Trump said it anyway, over and over, as if repetition could manufacture reality. His immigration lies followed the same pattern. No matter the alleged subject of a speech or interview, CNN noted, Trump often managed to find a way to recite his most frequent migration tale about foreign leaders emptying prisons and mental institutions to send criminals to the United States. The story was false. No foreign leaders had done this. No evidence supported the claim. Immigration experts and law enforcement officials had repeatedly debunked it. Trump kept saying it. What made 2025 different from Trump's first presidency was the sheer laziness of his lying. In his first term, Trump's falsehoods at least showed variety and creativity. He'd invent new stories, fabricate different statistics, create fresh narratives. By 2025, he had settled into a rotation of perhaps 24 core lies that he recycled endlessly. The $17 trillion investment, the 8 ended wars, the prison emptying foreign leaders, the Canadian annexation fantasy, the heroic Los Angeles water rescue. Fact-checkers documented the repetition meticulously. Trump would tell the same lie in a morning interview, repeat it at an afternoon event, and deploy it again during an evening speech. Sometimes he'd adjust the numbers slightly. 17 trillion became 18 trillion. 7 wars became 8 wars. But the fundamental falsehoods remained constant. The impact on American political discourse was profound and disturbing. Media outlets faced an impossible choice: report every Trump lie and risk normalizing the behavior, or ignore the lies and fail in their responsibility to inform the public. Most chose a middle path, fact-checking the most egregious claims while letting smaller falsehoods pass without comment. The result was an environment where truth and lies coexisted without clear distinction, where presidential statements carried no presumption of accuracy, and where Americans had to independently verify everything their president said. By December 2025, polling showed the consequences. According to NPR/PBS News Marist poll, Democrats had attained a 14-point lead over the GOP on the generic congressional ballot. Trump's lying, combined with his policy failures and scandals, was driving voters away from Republicans. Yet Trump seemed incapable of changing course. The lies had become so ingrained in his communication style that truth was now the exception rather than the rule. CNN's list of top 25 lies represented just a fraction of Trump's 2,025 deceptions. Dale and his team had documented hundreds of false claims throughout the year. The 25 selected represented the most repeated, most consequential, or most brazenly disprovable lies. Some were trivial, like the Governor Moore fabrication. Others had serious policy implications, like the wildfire lies that shaped federal disaster response. All revealed a president for whom objective reality was optional. The international community watched with a mixture of alarm and resignation. Allied leaders learned not to take Trump's statements at face value. Diplomatic cables routinely included notes clarifying that presidential claims should be independently verified. Foreign journalists covering Trump developed their own fact-checking protocols, assuming falsehood until proven otherwise. Within the Republican Party, the response varied. MAGA loyalists either defended Trump's lies, claimed they were jokes or exaggerations, or simply denied the lies existed despite video evidence. Traditional conservatives found themselves in an impossible position: call out Trump's dishonesty and face primary challenges, or stay silent and abandon any pretense of valuing truth. Most chose silence. Democrats weaponized Trump's lies in the 2026 midterm campaigns. Advertisements featuring Trump's false claims, followed by fact checks, became ubiquitous. He lied about the wildfires. He lied about ending wars. He lied about investments. What else is he lying about? The ads were effective because they didn't require partisan interpretation. The lies were documented, often on video, and obviously false. Trump's response to being called a liar was to lie more aggressively. When fact-checkers published comprehensive lists of his falsehoods, Trump claimed the fact-checkers were lying. When video proved his statements false, Trump said the video was edited or taken out of context. When confronted with his own quotes, Trump denied having said them. The circular logic was dizzying. Trump lied. Fact-checkers documented the lies. Trump lied about the lies, and his supporters believed him anyway. The psychological toll on people who cared about truth was significant. Watching the President of the United States lie constantly and face no meaningful consequences created a sense of helplessness and despair. If the most powerful person in the world could fabricate reality without accountability, what hope existed for maintaining a shared understanding of facts? By year's end, Trump's lying had become so routine that Trump said was no longer treated as a source of information, but as a starting point for investigation. Journalists automatically assumed presidential statements needed an Americana. Foreign leaders demanded written confirmation of American commitments. Even Republican lawmakers privately acknowledged they couldn't trust Trump's word on anything. CNN's December 27th analysis captured this depressing reality. The list of top 25 lies wasn't shocking because the lies were new or creative. It was shocking because it documented how thoroughly dishonesty had become normalized in American presidential discourse. Trump lied constantly, obviously, and without consequence. He lied about trivial matters and critical policy issues with equal shamelessness. He lied when the truth would have served him better. He lied when video proved him wrong. He lied and lied and lied. The year 2025 would be remembered for many Trump scandals and failures. But perhaps the defining characteristic was the sheer exhausting repetitiveness of his dishonesty. The same lies told again and again. The same fact checks published repeatedly. The same pattern of deception without accountability. Trump had turned presidential, lying into a grinding war of attrition, betting that Americans would eventually grow too tired to care about truth. As 2025 ended, the question wasn't whether Trump would stop lying. Everyone knew he wouldn't. The question was whether enough Americans still cared about the difference between truth and fiction to hold him accountable. The 2026 midterms would provide at least a partial answer. But CNN's list of Trump's top 25 lies stood as a definitive record. In 2025, the President of the United States lied constantly, obviously, and without shame. And he got away with it, day after day, lie after lie, until the lies themselves became the story of his presidency.